Every day, many of you may not know this, but every day these buildings are full, and either in our school or church, and it's just a blessing to see God continue to work here. Several years ago, we went on a journey that the biggest journey we've done as a church as far as building goes, and started putting together a plan and a process, of course, under the vision of the previous pastor, Brother Muchler, and of course the continued vision to continue to grow our school and do some things in the school that desperately needed, but also in the church, a gymnasium, a family center, an indoor playground, and of course more classrooms to continue to accommodate the growth that we've seen. And we are just thankful for what God's doing. We're trusting Him on this process. But I want us to see kind of the progress we've made and give some exciting updates on the Family Center. I'm going to have our administrative pastor, Brother Jeremy, come up. I'm thankful for him, his love for the Lord, his desire to further God's work and to use the tools he's acquired and the knowledge he's learned to help and mold and keep that direction going. And then we're going to share a little bit of vision of what God's doing here. But Brother Jeremy, maybe just talk through a little bit of the journey we've gone on and how we've gotten to the point we've gotten.
It's been my privilege to be part of the staff here for the last 5 years. And as Pastor Justin said, this has been one of the most exciting but also largest projects that our church has been involved in the last 40 years. And I've been asked just to give you a little bit of a step-by-step of where we are at and how we got to where we're at. I know that through the last 3 years, we've had new people join our church. We may have visitors this morning that are wondering exactly what this is about. In 2021, God laid it on the heart of this ministry to look for that key piece of infrastructure that we need for our school and for our church, as Pastor Justin mentioned. As many of you know, we have a school here that meets Monday through Thursday, and we have hundreds and hundreds of young people here every single day. And one of the key things that the school needs that it has been missing is a gymnasium. As you know, we live in Oregon, and sometimes in the winter, it's not conducive to play outside. But when you have hundreds and hundreds, and I mean hundreds, like almost 500 children here, you can imagine how complicated it can be to find places for all the children to play, for us to have our athletics and things like that. So God laid it upon our heart not only for our school, but also for the young families and for the growing families of our church, that we would have a place that we can reach this community for Christ. I think many of you would be very, very pleased and encouraged by the work that takes place by our teachers every single day here on this property. We have Sunday school here every Sunday morning, and then every Monday we have just as dedicated teachers stand before classes for hours and teach the young people of this community. Many of them are members of our church. Many of them are not members of our church. And I can tell you that there is a great need in this area for what Grandview Baptist Church has been touched on by God to provide in the education. In 2021, we started laying the foundation for building this building. And part of laying the foundation meant paying off some of the buildings that we had that we needed to pay off. As many of you know, we have some modulars in the back, and we were paying a lease as well as the 6 classrooms that we've been using for the school and for Sunday school. And in 2021, we had a goal as in our ministry to pay those off in the year 2021. It was about $364,000. And that was a step of faith for us. To be able to pay those off completely so we would no longer need to make those monthly payments. Well, God stepped in, as He often does, in a miraculous way that we could have never predicted. And in 2021, He provided all the money that we needed to pay those buildings off by May of 2021. And so what we thought was going to take us the whole year, God said, let me move you along a little faster. By the way, through this whole process, we've learned to trust God's timing. This is God's ministry. It always has been. It always will be. And so we're doing God's work and here at Grandview Baptist Church. And so we trust His timing, and He moved us along faster than we had anticipated. So we started reserving every dollar that we were putting towards those towards the modulars and towards those 6 classrooms, we began to put towards the future gym and the family center. In 2022, we had a great goal of beginning to raise money aggressively for this building. And again, we sat down, We shared the vision, and so many of you participated. And again, God did something I think that most of us could not have predicted. In that 2022, God brought us over $2 million towards this building in matching funds and generous gifts. And I just want to take the time right now to thank many of you who have given, who have prayed, who have contributed, who have raised money, who have helped the kids as they're doing fundraisers in the school. I just want to thank you for all of you who have supported through 2022 and also into 2023. We continue to raise money in 2023. 2023 was a year that we really looked and we took the time to finalize the plans for what this building was going to look like. Through much prayer, many meetings, we wanted to do exactly what God wanted us to do. It's our heart, again, that we invest in the future generation. And we want it to we want this building, we want this piece of infrastructure to be a blessing to the future generations, not to be a burden. And so we wanted exactly what God wanted for us. We tried to ask him to guide our hearts, guide our minds, give us wisdom. In 2023, as you can see on the screen there's a pie chart. Right now we have about $2.85 million that we have put towards this gym. But we've already begun to spend it because there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes before we even do the first shovelful of dirt. Architectural plans, permits, septic systems, all these things that need to be planned ahead of time. We've spent right now about $500,000 of the money. And this is money that we are throughout 2023. And so as we continue to look towards the future, I just want to say the staff has been very busy. Sometimes I'll get a question from a church member or from someone and say, when are we going to see something back there? And I just want to say we have been very, very busy. Tons of work goes into this. In one of the meetings that we were in last month, I said, this is like a marathon. There's a lot of work, and we're not going to get tired or weary in well-doing. We're going to continue to strive towards the goal that God has put before us. One of the things I just want to say, our school, since I've been here, I really feel strongly about this, that God has touched Grandview Baptist Church in a special way. Not every church in this country has a school like Grandview Baptist Church, like Grandview Christian Academy. And for some reason, God decided to touch this ministry and to say, I'm going to trust you with hundreds of young people for the future. And we take that very seriously, and we know it's one of the key ministries of this work that's on this corner. As I was thinking about what I was going to say today, God brought this verse to my mind, and actually I was reading it. And Matthew chapter 3, verse 15 says, this is the story of John the Baptist. John the Baptist felt completely unworthy. Jesus came up to him and said, I want you to baptize me. And he said, whoa, I'm the one that's in need of help. How? I can't help you. And Jesus says to him, and Jesus answering said unto him, suffer it or allow it to be so now, for thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness. And I've always felt like this project, I love that pronoun us, I've always felt like this project has been a co-laborer of the members and the people of Grandview Baptist Church and God. And God has been carrying us through this entire process, and I'm encouraged and very excited to see where he's going to bring us next.
Well, thank you, Brother Jeremy. I appreciate that. I appreciate the vision of the church being started by the Muchlers. And, of course, Miss Vicki was so instrumental in the school. And then, of course, Michelle Wooster up here helped take the school to the next level. And I appreciate as it continues to go forward. And may I say, it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of people doing so much. But I do believe that the best is still yet to come. And here's why. I was listening to a podcast this week about just different ways of continued growth and ministry and stuff. And the speaker said a recent Gallup poll said 44% of Americans admit that they now need God. And then he said, this is the highest it has ever been for 50 years. And I was driving along, I thought, man, this must have been recorded 10 or 20 years ago. But I replayed it, and it was just recorded a few weeks ago. And I'm here today to say that people know they need God, but they need someone who's going to tell them about God. And I've been encouraged to see as I listened on the podcast. It said, no matter what church style, if you will, if you are busy leading people to Christ and discipling them and training them, your church will grow. And that's just a common thing. And I was excited to see that's what's happening here. What's been happening here for years. And I hope and pray will continue to happen in the future. And that's why we believe we need more classrooms. That's why we believe we need this indoor playground that one day maybe your grandkids will play in. Maybe your children will play in. Maybe your neighbors will come and say, you know what, I want to come and be a part of that. The gymnasium that many will play in, I believe some of those children are going to respond to God's touch on their lives. Brother TJ, our youth pastor, was sharing with the church on Wednesday that over 40 teens went out and 21 precious souls accepted Christ as their Savior. That's what these buildings are. They're going to help teach that kind of stuff. And I believe when the darker the night, the brighter the light. Where did sin abound, there did much more grace abound. And I firmly believe that the best is yet to come here at Grandview Baptist Church. And it's going to take all of us doing our part. So you say, all right, Pastor Justin, what about 2024? Well, I do want to share with you that already we have been making hard work into making this happen. Septic upgrades this year, plans have been made and completed, and the permits have been applied for. A huge savings has been discovered with our electrical. We do not necessarily need PG&E to come out and put a bunch of stuff up, which was a huge saving. It's simply rerouting the electrical we already have. Of course, this building was built in such a way where it was to accommodate growth, and so we're excited about that. We've already applied for the permits for that, and we're looking forward. The plans have been completed. We're looking for that. And then the stormwater permit. I know these are some things. What do all these mean? Well, just for this particular permit that we had to apply for, I got a 26-page PDF on how to do it. And I thought, what in the world? And so we got through that, and that's going. And the land swap that was completed in the county for us to have the driveway all the way around the property, which will really help streamline child pickup and different things, is been completed. And we're going full steam board ahead. Our next step is building has been cleared out for demolition, and upon receiving the permit, we'll be able to get the electrical rerouted so that we can start excavation. The bids are in hand, and I have a copy of bids, and we're excited about that. Our next three really important things we're going to do when it comes to groundbreaking is demolition, which is going to be about 40,000 underground utilities, which will be about 250,000, and earthwork excavation, which will be about 221,000, and then the concrete. That'll be the big one, about 472,000. But already we have bids in hand. We know this building is going to cost between $5 to $6 million, completely done. But we do believe we've got a good enough start to where we can start the process here soon. So pray for us, and pray that God's will be done. Pray that we don't get ahead of God, but pray that we slowly but surely, by faith, take a step out. And it's only going to happen with God's people getting involved. Even this week, I have talked with a few people who've expressed interest in investing substantially in the future of this project. And what about you? Will you join them in investing in the next generation? You can see the next couple slides here, just what this building is going to look like, kind of the bird's eye view, and then the outside, and then, of course, the families, the indoor playground, and then the gym. And just wanted to take some time this morning. I know it's a little different than we normally do, but I think it's important for us to see what God is doing, and we're excited. We're just sharing God's goodness and grace. But I hope, and my prayer is, in a piece of Clackamas County, in the Oregon City area, that's totally opposite.